All right, what's up, everyone? This is the Osmo.com NHL Hit the Ice show. A little early here on a Saturday morning, but we got a couple slates to talk about. We could talk early. We can talk Maine. I know we're going to have a smaller crew as we usually do on Saturdays. We've been actually getting some more people, but this was kind of the time that I was able to do something, do a stream for the people that wanted it. So it's a little early, but yeah, if you got anything you want to talk about, if we want to talk about last night, thought it was going to be pretty good for me last night. I didn't watch any hockey. I rarely do on Fridays. But yeah, Carolina won was really good, and kind of looking back, what was kind of the nut lineup? I didn't do much checking on DK. I kind of just saw what happened after, but I didn't really study last night's slate at all or see what ended up winning. So full stacks were not the key to success. So when that happens, usually not going to do all that well, but that's all right. As far as today goes, there's I'll explain that, Jack. He says, whenever you get a chance, could you maybe explain why your projections are so much lower on Tampa Bay tonight comparing to the FC ones? The FC ones really like Tampa. I think they weigh Vegas a little bit more, whereas I kind of come up with my own game totals and then distribute points after that. So I'm usually a little bit lower on Tampa. They are pretty efficient with their chances, but just from a chance generation and shot generation perspective, they usually grade out a little bit below what their value is. So I still like Tampa. And I actually just uploaded projections again. So, I make a few tweaks here and there to individual players' lines and such throughout the day once they kind of go through line matching. So we'll talk about that a little bit. But yeah, I usually miss out on the big Tampa nights, which I'm okay with. It's super tilting because I'm usually under the field on them, even in really good spots. And I think I might be again tonight. But yeah, it's just kind of one of those teams I don't seem to get right very often. And I don't think they're wrongly projected. Today, like, if you just want to go all in on Tampa, that's probably an okay strategy. The one thing I would worry about with them is, I don't know, like if they get up super early and you get a fourth or third line goal or a couple of those, like, they're not going to need to keep putting the pressure on Ottawa. So who knows? They're just talented enough where they could just go out there and score 5 goals in the first period on Anderson or Nilsson, whoever they decide to throw out there. So I don't think Tampa is obviously not a bad play at all. So I do think there are quite a few other good ones, though. And when you think about what their ownership could possibly get to tonight, it's a little bit scary to fade them, of course, or not fade them, but go underweight. But there are a couple spots that I think are going to be way, way, way lower owned that I don't have that far behind. So it's always about ownership. Tampa always, whenever it's even a good spot, they get super heavily owned. And tonight they're going to be crazy, highly owned. A minus 550. Is that even? That seems like a fake number, but I think that is. That's a thing today, minus 550. I saw they were minus 520 or something earlier today, and I'm sure, like, there's just no way they should lose this game. But we will see, I suppose. So, how did everyone's nights go last night? Did anybody win all the money? Because I certainly did not. All right. Well, seems pretty silent in here, so maybe you guys didn't win the money anyways. But Yeah, it's Happy Tampa Day, I guess. So it doesn't look like there's a bunch of people in here yet. Maybe we'll start going over the main slate. I'm sure a lot of people, the majority of people, will be watching this on delay, and they probably won't catch the early slate. So maybe we start with the main here. If anybody has any objections, we can, of course, start with early if a bunch of people want to do early, but I just think we'll probably focus on the main and then pass by the early sort of at the end. So we'll start with, well, actually, let me start just on my DK contests. These are really bad. I thought maybe we'd get a $5 or a better $8 22 max. That's what they put out for the late slate. But geez, it's just nothing. Like nothing here I want to play. Like this tournament's okay. It kind of falls off a cliff as far as payout goes. 40% to the top 10. I'm not putting 56 entries in there. So there's a lot of guys that max this, like Slewfoot and Testosterone, Alex, Tom, who are just really, really good players. And I don't know that there's a huge edge in this tournament. Maybe there is. Maybe I'm wrong. But I don't think I'm playing DK today. I emailed them, and they didn't really love what they had to say back. But, yeah, no $5, no $8, which is tough. I wanted to 150. I told them I prefer to play on DK, and I know a lot of people prefer to play on DK, but I think today it's gonna be FanDuel for me. I'm playing this 10K, I think. So my volume would be shifted over for the main slate at least to FanDuel. I'll probably play the early on DK. They actually have a decent $8. So that's gonna be how that goes. Early? I'll go through quick and we'll do early. You guys will have more than enough time. The main will only take 30 minutes or so, and then we'll have a full hour to get to the early, and that'll only take 10 minutes. So you guys will have more than enough time once I'm done to get your early lineups. It's a 2-game slate, so there's not really a ton to talk about. But we'll go through Devils first. Devils and Bruins. We've got a 2 implied total for New Jersey. It looks like 3.9 to 4. That seems a little bit high, but let me check this out at another spot. I'm seeing 4 and 2.1. So yeah, I guess that is a thing. So just Boston. Devils are going to be pretty overmatched here. I don't know if there's any doubt about that. The Devils played last night. They lost, I believe, to Philly. They put up 6 goals. Blackwood is confirmed. Is that right? I don't know if he's confirmed, but he's expected to go because Schneider went last night. Tuukka Rask would expect to go for Boston. And it's really just about Boston 1 for me here. I wrote them up in the article if you guys want to check that out. The Free Stacks article. And it's just like best line in the game, one of the best lines on the entire slate, even without Pasternak. Heinen's filled in okay, and under 5K, Bergeron, Marchand. This line is 19-4 together. It just doesn't matter who they go up against. They're going to have a big advantage for me. This line is this line's okay for me. I'm not really a Krejci guy. I'm not really a Johansson guy either. And they might get the Zajac line. Maybe that's a little bit of a worse matchup. I don't know that there are bad matchups against New Jersey. I just like other lines better, other fillers, and I don't think you're getting like a great price on Krejci, DeBrusk, and Johansson. On the other side, there's really not much. There's no way I'm going to Heischer. There's no way I'm going to this Zajac line. I think I'm pretty safely going to cross off the Devils forwards at least, and then probably the defensemen too. They don't really come up for me on either site, and I will have Krug for sure in my mix on FanDuel tonight. I probably actually just going to go on FanDuel pricing let's do that. Let's yeah, I guess I'm not playing DK tonight, so we'll go by FanDuel. Wow, that's pretty expensive, 6,500. Interesting. Looking to shift some volume to FanDuel too. What's the biggest difference when building there? There's not a huge difference. You just can't go 4-3-1 with the correlated goalie with your 4. You can only have a maximum of 4 players from one team. So that's the only thing. But you can still run 4-3-1 or 4-4 with an uncorrelated goalie. So there's that. You don't have to have You don't have to have skaters from 3 different games or 3 different teams. Sorry. So you can complete game stack with 4-4 and just a goalie from another game and be good to go. It's not that different. Just the pricing's different. So different lines, different players will pop at on different sites. So still all about value for me when you're 150ing. And I don't know that we're getting a ton of value on Boston 2 here. So it's going to be mostly Boston 1. Looking to be over the field on them. I think since I'm going under the field on Tampa, or at least that's my plan on at least one of the lines, that it's not going to be too difficult to get over the field at some of these other high-priced spots like Boston 1. All right, next game, Buffalo and Toronto. We have Carter Hutton expected to go against Frederik Andersen. Looks like the totals here are 2.4 going to Buffalo, 4.1 going to Toronto. A bunch of 4 totals here. And we're going to see Tavares go up against Eichel, Skinner, and Reinhart. This Eichel line last night was actually really solid against, and they hard matched against Crosby. So I was pretty impressed. I did not expect that to go that way. I don't remember what the results ended up being, but just from like a shot attempts for and against, they pretty much held their own against Pitt 1, which is, I think, one of the better lines, certainly on the slate last night, but just in general, that line has really, really good numbers, and Buffalo 1 was impressive against them. So I did not expect to see that. Like I said, I didn't watch, so maybe you guys saw something if you watched the games a little bit differently than what I saw just looking at the nerd numbers. But yeah, it was interesting to see. Buffalo 1 is pretty highly priced on FanDuel, but not out of the picture for me. And I do like the Tavares line still back-to-back for Buffalo. Huge total for Toronto. The thing is, though, the Matthews line is just as good, if not a better play than Toronto 1. I like that we get cheap Zach Hyman. I've actually become a little bit more of a fan of his for DFS. He can score goals a little bit more than we've seen in past years. And, when you're playing with Tavares and Marner at even strength and then getting, he's on the ice for empty net situations as well. So you kind of get some cheap points from Hyman. And people always leave him off too. So I won't leave him off. And then speaking of leaving people off, like Kapanen is going way under-owned compared to Johnson and Matthews. As you guys know, I'm a proponent of full stacking, and there's just no real reason to leave off Kapanen. I know he's power play 2, but he's $5K on FanDuel. He's even cheaper on DK. And this line is just really, really good at chance generation. So they're another line I wrote up. Kind of went with some chalky lines, but this line's too cheap on both sites. So if you're playing DK tonight, this would be a line I would have very heavy exposure to. And then this one is still fine on either side as well. I think they're underpriced on DK too. And just got no issue with anything on Toronto. I think Buffalo does have a chance to generate, though. Specifically the Eichel line. I don't think there's another line I would go to outside of the Eichel line, even in 150 max. Maybe you want to sneak in some Rodriguez-Shiri combo. That's been okay. But I think the Leafs are going to take it to them here at even strength. We just saw this matchup 5 days ago, maybe, on Monday. And the Leafs were really good. They put up 5 goals. I don't know that we should expect anything different in this one. So good luck to Carter Hutton. I think it might be a rough one for him. Rasmus Ristolainen and Dahlin are both super cheap on FanDuel, so I'm going to have a bunch of those guys. I still like defensemen against the Leafs, and those are two prices that are really sticking out to me on this main slate. Morgan Riley, a little bit tougher to swallow. On DraftKings, it looks like he is 6,100, so maybe a little bit better value get on FanDuel at a couple $100 more. You obviously have more salary on FanDuel, which I sometimes forget. Google Kapanen's girlfriend, I'm sure she's got a great personality. Just got here. What did I miss? Eric, not much. We just went through the first Devils-Boston game. I really liked Boston 1. So, surprise. Kind of with the chalk here, I don't know that I have any sort of real hot takes tonight, but a couple lines I'm going to be over the field on that we'll get to. And we've certainly got an interesting one in the next one. So I think we're good on this one. Just to kind of recap, really like the Matthews line. They're going to get the less tough matchups against lines 2 and 3, while Tavares goes up against Eichel. Penguins and Montreal Canadiens. We have Casey DeSmith going up against Antti Niemi. I believe Murray started last night. Price started last night. Both these teams played. Of course, Pittsburgh was on the road actually against the Sabres. Montreal was on the road in New York. The Rangers? Is that possible? Yeah, I think that's what it was. Like I said, I was at dinner, so can't really check too many scores without getting the family all mad. Here, Danault on the top power play? Oh, I'm just catching that. Was that a thing last night? Does anybody know? Let me check this out. All right, natural stat trick's gonna die on me. All right, here we go. Oh, by the way, we may have some tools being added to our premium product. While I'm kind of waiting for this to load. Possibly some NHL ownership. We're going to test out in the next couple weeks for the end of the season to see if we can kind of get close. So that's pretty exciting. I don't think I mentioned that on the show, but it'll be kind of a beta test for it. So don't take everything literally if we do end up coming out with projections. But if you guys want to try out the product for the last month or so of the regular season, promo code Hit the Ice, 50% off of any Awesemo.com premium membership for the first month, I should say. Not 50% for the whole time, but for the first month. Hopefully you win some money and you come back and give us another try for a few more months, or get the all access pass, get all the sports. So just wanted to mention that. That just came up for whatever reason. I was thinking about that. All right, let's look at what Montreal did last night. So it looks like Shaw, Drouin, and Domi were on the power play together with Paul Byron. And then, oh, by the way, Armia hat trick. Yeah, I had some Montreal 3 too. And I just didn't have them paired up, I guess. I had Montreal 3 with Carolina 1, but I think my defenseman really let me down, or something went on there. What am I looking for? Oh, yeah, Danault. Looks like Danault was with Weber, Tatar, Armia, and Mete. So I guess, interesting. I don't think these power play combinations are right, but it would be interesting to see Danault on the power play in some fashion. Okay, getting to this game, we're probably going to see Danault go up against Crosby, Gensel, and Hornquist. For me, I think I still side with the Crosby line there. Okay, Hornquist's price is ridiculous, under 5K on FanDuel. On DK, he is 4,800. That's absurd. He brings the price of that line down really nicely. And if this was earlier in the season, I've kind of talked about this line. But, man, they just haven't really been the same defensively. So it's a little bit concerning. You look at their season-long numbers, and they look really good defensively. But tough matchup here, and then they just haven't been the same on the defensive end. So I'm willing to take some shots here on the Crosby line. Again, they gave up 6 scoring chances, 2 high danger chances at even strength, and that was going up against some of the depth lines for the Rangers. So concerned here about this line, and I think that's going to hopefully open things up for Crosby, Gensel, and Hornquist. The Kessel line finally showed signs of life. Kessel with Malkin and Aston Reese, and they're also going to get a good matchup too. So for me, I think this one's more about Pittsburgh than anything. I think if I'm going to one line here for Montreal, especially on FanDuel, it's going to be the Domi, Drouin, and Shaw line. I think this matchup, assuming we get it, this line against this line, has a good chance to trade chances back and forth. When do you know guys are free squares? I know there's a bit of chatter in the Slack about it. Free squares? What do you mean? Like, do you mean just like you have to plug someone in kind of thing? Like they're just too cheap? Like Hornquist, if I was a cash player, Hornquist would be a free square if he's playing with Crosby, playing power play 1, and in this matchup. Usually more with defensemen, I think. Like when Stetcher all of a sudden was playing, Stetcher's not a great example, actually. Even though he's been set, he doesn't really do a lot. But like Hronek that one night, like Hronek is a guy who he shoots a little bit, and all of a sudden he got moved up to the top power play against one of the worst penalty kills, and he was 2,800. So like that would be probably a free square type of thing. For me though, like it's never an absolute. It's always relative, right? So you could have Schultz being 3,500, but if there's another guy that's 3,700 that I think's a better player, a better value, then that all of a sudden makes Schultz not a free square, at least. We had the Brett Ritchie free square last year, playing with Sagan and Ben, I think. That might be more of a free square, 2,500, and he was playing in the top power play as well with them. But those are really few and far between examples. Just to kind of sum this one up, I do side with the Pittsburgh side here. So prefer the Crosby line, but probably will end up with some Malkin line. They were really good at shot generation last night, which I was surprised to see. Schultz at 4,600 still in play on FanDuel, and then on DK he's up to 44. Johnson still at 3K. They're still both going to play a lot of minutes, so I really don't have an issue with either of those guys on either site. And then on D here, I like Petrie for Montreal, both sites. He is 5K. On DK, obviously a much better play on FanDuel at just 4,200. I don't really fall for the Mete thing. He's kind of one of those guys that doesn't do anything. For me, he did get an assist and 2 shots on goal last night, but that's his best game in, 7-8 games. Like there's just not a ton of upside, honestly, in a guy like Mete yet. So I kind of avoid him. Weber, I don't really know what's going on with him. I don't know why he's not shooting more. He had 5 shots on goal last game. Maybe he's starting to turn it around a little bit, but I haven't noticed him like attempting a lot of shots lately, which is kind of weird. A guy that has as powerful as a shot as he does. This would maybe be a good time to turn it around, but I'm probably just taking the value with Petrie here on FanDuel. Sens Lightning. This will be a fun one. Updated totals. It looks like it is 2 for the Ottawa Senators and 4.6 for the Lightning. So that might be the highest total I think we've seen all year. Probably the highest total we're going to see all year. Just absurd. Just 2 teams moving in completely opposite directions. Ottawa just fired their coach, which is kind of weird timing. You ship everyone away, let them play a few games, Obviously, he gets smacked around and then fire the coach. So congrats to the new coach. I think this is his first game. You get to go and just get ramrodded by Tampa. So it doesn't matter how the matchups go here. Just completely outclassed Ottawa is compared to Tampa. Like, I don't even know that it's necessary to talk about matchups. If people want to know, I think my best guess is probably the point line against Tierney, Kachuk, and White. Who knows? Tyler Johnson's still super underpriced on FanDuel. I know he hasn't been great, but makes that stack so affordable. Palat and Yanni Gord with Stamkos. I don't know if that's going to be the case. I thought it was. I thought we saw Miller with Palat and Stamkos. Could be wrong. Just keep an eye on this top line. I think whoever it is, whether it's Gord or Miller, whatever combo, like, of course, they're in play. The top 6 here are the main targets, of course. I'm probably going to be a little underweight on this line. Definitely going to be overweight on Tampa 3. My numbers really, really like them. They're good. They play good minutes. They do get some power play time as well. I know a lot of it's on the second unit, but seeing Ottawa's depth, they're basically seeing AHL skaters at this point. It's just a ridiculous overmatch here. So what if Tampa Bay just doesn't even bother showing up? Minus 450. So that would be the narrative thing, right? Like, even if Tampa puts up 5 goals here, you could see 2 goals from Kucherov. But, like, if the assists and stuff don't match up, like, there's, of course, a way that the Tampa stack doesn't, like, it's not the nut stack. So, give me some Tampa 3 here. I'm not full fading Tampa 2. I don't want to get it twisted here. I'm expecting them to be like over 20%, and I'm of course going to be underweight on that. I might be more in the 10 to 12% range. Stamkos, very, very good value on both sites, no matter who he skates with. The Stamkos line, I should say. And then really love the value on the third line, Cirelli, Miller, and either Killorn or Yanni Gord, some combination of Killorn, Miller, and Gord. So, yep, don't really think it's necessary to talk about Ottawa outside of maybe Shabbat. If you want to go back to him, super disappointing in his last game. He's still playing minutes. He's not attempting that many shots as of late, so that's the one concern. Probably hard to attempt shots when you're playing with an AHL team. Probably tough to get the puck in the zone and retrieve it and, sustain the puck long enough to actually attempt some blast from the point. So it makes sense. I've definitely downgraded Shabbat, but he is only 5K on FanDuel. I'm still not gonna he's not gonna be one of my highest owned defensemen or anything like that. He's dropping a little bit in the projections, probably to no fault of his own. Hedman, 6K on both sites. It looks like I'm really about that on FanDuel. On DraftKings, I don't know if it's the best price, but there's no Brent Burns on this slate, so Hedman is a little bit easier to stomach, especially when you look at like Morgan Riley's price on DK is 6,100. So I think I'd rather take Hedman just because he correlates to almost every line, and he's showing some more signs of life. He's been a little bit better. So give me some Victor. That's probably about it. Don't play these guys. I don't think there's a need to do it tonight. 8 games. There's better spots, better teams. Allocate that ownership elsewhere would be my advice. Carolina and Florida. Mrazek probably going against Bobby Lou, Roberto Luongo. The Panthers coach, I'm blanking on who it is, said that it's going to be a game time decision between Luongo and a guy they just brought in. So, of course, check this out. Luongo is going to be the more expensive guy, so if you're crunching put Luongo in is what I would do, and then just swap down if need be if it ends up not being Luongo. So this is actually a pretty fun one here, I think. We've got Barkov, Huberdeau, and Hoffman going up against Aho, Niederreiter, and Williams. You guys know my thoughts about the Aho line. Absolutely love them. Love the numbers, 80 shot attempts per 60. Just outrageous things they're doing right now. And, Barkov gets this reputation as a really awesome defensive center. Maybe he is, or maybe he's going to be. He hasn't been with this combo, like nearly 15 high danger chances against, and we're in about a 120-minute sample with Barkov, Huberdeau, and Hoffman. So they got there offensively to help me out the other night, but still not good defensively. And Barkov hard matches against opposing top competition here when they're at home. So that would mean he's going up against what I think is one of the best lines. I don't even know if you can dispute that. Another 5-point performance from them last night. And then, the hard match just kind of drives it home for me. So I'm all over Carolina 1 here. Not going to be heavy on the Barkov line. Probably not going to be heavy on the Trocheck line. I think they're going to see more time against Stahl. And this is a really solid line as well. So more on the Carolina side. If I had to choose just one, Dougie Hamilton, 5,100 on FanDuel. That's crazy, man. What is he up to on DK now? 55. Okay, that seems like a more reasonable price. So I'm gonna have a lot of Dougie at 5,100 here, and then Falk also in play on both sites. Man, my voice is not cooperating tonight. I didn't even do anything last night. But, Hamilton, Nolan's boy Slavin is probably not going to be one of my main targets on FanDuel, but still an okay price at 4,300. I still prefer Hamilton and Falk ahead of him by a decent amount. Really don't want to mess all that much with Carolina. I know it's a back-to-back, but I think Florida might be somewhat popular on really both sites looking at some of these prices. Maybe not as much on DK, with Hoffman up to 64, Huberdeau 67, and Barkov 74. No, it wasn't. I didn't drink a thing, and so this is kind of out of nowhere. But the Trocheck line. I don't know. It seems like it should be really offensively talented. Just a tough matchup against Stahl. Carolina just all of a sudden a super super tough matchup. Basically all around. All right, let's move it on. Detroit and Arizona, we've got, looks like 2.4 going to Detroit, 3.1 going to Arizona. Looks like Howard and Kemper. Neither of these teams played last night, so that would be pretty good to assume. Of course, we haven't had a lot of morning skates, so just check on everything if you're watching this later. Always good to kind of get confirmation. Don't just take my word for it. If I say Howard's going to start, things can change. I did not go over the early slate yet. We'll go over that. We'll pass over it in about 10 minutes once we're done with these last couple games. So you guys will probably know my main target here is the Larkin line. I thought the Stepan line had been doing a little bit of a better job. Wait, Stepan not in? What am I looking at here? What am I missing here? Did I miss something on Stepan? Someone help me out. He's out? Oh my god, I completely missed this. Whoa. Okay, that's my bad. Ooh, I'm just seeing this on Twitter now. Ooh, he's in a lot of pain. Jeez. Okay, 4 to 6 weeks. Wow, that's my bad. All right. Thanks, Nolan. All the be rich. So, man, that actually makes me, as weird as that kind of makes me like Detroit a little less. I think they're going to be more popular with the Stepan news, of course. Um, this was 20 hours ago? Wow. I was around my computer 20 hours ago. I was just getting ready to fire up the show. Maybe that's why. Um, anyways, we're probably going to see Richardson see extended time against Larkin, Mantha, and Helm. And the Richardson line is actually pretty good. That's actually probably a downgrade because the step-on line with Kraus and uh, Archibald, which it looks like Dvorak's filling in for him, that line was pretty bad. They were giving up 70 shot attempts per 60. The high danger chance stuff wasn't terrible, but yeah, I was looking to attack them with the Larkin line. I wonder how much the Larkin line is going to get talked up. It is a really good price on FanDuel. 7,400 for Larkin is fine. 56 for Mantha is an underprice, and then Helm just kind of an add-on at near min salary. I still think you can probably play them. I don't know what to do with this Zadina, Athanasiou, Bertuzzi line. I know that's Boom's favorite. Zadina is his buddy or whatever. And I like Athanasiou a ton. I just think that line's going to be pretty bad defensively, so I think I'm a little bit more on the Cousins, Galchenyuk, Keller line, even though I recognize that line is also really bad defensively. Interesting. Okay, so no step on. Definitely puts the Richardson line actually back in play. Probably opens up a little bit more power play time for Hinostroza and or Panik. I know one of them was not on the power play in the last game. So, yeah, I think my main target here is probably going to be the Cousins line again. I'm not going to be super heavy on Richardson. I'm guessing he's going to get 3 or 4% ownership just because 4 goals. I'm sure he won some people money, myself included, but it'll probably be under 5% again for me. They're going to be nothing more than a filler. Yeah, give me some Arizona 1, Cousins, Galchenyuk, and Keller. And then if I'm going to Detroit, it's almost always the Larkin line. Chikrin, wow, 3,800 on FanDuel. Ekman Larson, a little bit more priced where he should be. I think on FanDuel, on DK he's come up a little bit to 46, I believe I saw. Yeah, 46. Chikrin at 45. So on DK they've actually done a decent job at pricing him up. Goligoski's there as well, so not a ton of minutes to go around for Chikrin, and Ekman Larson's minutes are always safe, but I still think Chikrin is more in play on FanDuel, of course, at 38. That's just kind of a guy I like to play per 60. Pretty good shot attempt numbers, and usually sees around 20 minutes. So he's a guy I like to take a shot on if you're not getting up to Ekman Larson. And those guys, of course, both correlate to the top power play. No Mantha tonight? What did I miss about Mantha? No, I'll play Mantha. When I say Larkin, I mean the Larkin line because I full stack. So that's my bad. Mantha's not out, right? Oh, God. Let me look this up. I'm sure you guys are on delay, so you'll let me know. Oh, questionable Saturday? Jeez. All right. Dylan Larkin, undisclosed, probable. Oh, he's in? No, he's not. Out of commission Saturday from RotoWire. Let me post this tweet in here. Nolan, is this fake? DK says sick. All right, so he's out. Woof. All right. Not my best game. Not my most informed game. So apologies. I did not know. I guess I don't really keep big tabs on Detroit and Arizona. So I'll give myself somewhat of a pass, I suppose. But yeah, completely missed those. That's my bad. This wasn't a game I was targeting super heavily. I wonder who skates. It'll probably be Bertuzzi then with Larkin. I'm just speculating. So wait for the Detroit lines. If you got any questions, you can tweet at me or I'll try to respond on Twitter. I'll probably be in Slack in and out throughout the rest of the afternoon. But yeah, just uncertainty with the lines here. The one thing I'm pretty certain of is that they're going to keep the Cousins, Galchenyuk, Keller line. If for some reason Dvorak slots in there, which I would probably prefer, then it doesn't change anything for me. In fact, I think I would like it better if Dvorak were with Galchenyuk and Keller. All right, let's move it on. Last couple games. These are going to be pretty quick for me. Stars and Blues. We've got Khudobin, could be Bishop, going up against Binnington started last night, correct? So that would mean... Oh, no. What am I thinking of? Did Binnington... No. It was Allen, that's right. Okay, so Binnington tonight, that's right. Should trust the screen. Anyways, the main target here for me is St. Louis 1. I absolutely am in love with them here. They're just so good. They handled Nashville 1 2 games ago, their last home game. They take opposing top competition when they're at home, so you can't even say their numbers are skewed because of some good matchups. Like, they did a really, really good job against Nashville 1, which is obviously a line that I think is one of the best in the NHL. They're going to hard match against Sagan. I don't think there's any doubt about that. The Sagan line, just these numbers, 63 minutes, so we're getting it into a pretty usable sample, I think. 41.4% Corsi for rate, 43 scoring chances against, 14.4 high danger chances against. So that just screams St. Louis 1 all day for me. I'm going to be really heavy on them. There's almost no way I change my mind outside of St. Louis, or outside of, if St. Louis blew up their lines, but if Dallas blew up their lines and somehow made the top line better defensively, it still probably wouldn't change my mind a lot about St. Louis 1. I'm just all over them. Probably, tentatively, my highest exposed line. And I love that this game's only a 5.5 total. I think that'll get some people off of it. It's not really worrying me. St. Louis 1 all day for me. And I do really like Pietrangelo as well for $6K. Probably a little bit overpriced, but I'm willing to pay it, especially because of how much I love St. Louis 1. And I think he's going to skate a ton with them at even strength. So that's really all I got for this game. Not really looking at Dallas, and no one's price is really catching my eye. So let's move it on. Last game, then we'll talk quickly about early slate and get out of here. Minnesota and Calgary, we've got Devin Dubnyk going up against David Rittich. Could be Dubnyk, could be Stalock. Boudreau's kind of been content to ride Dubnyk. Lately, he's looked a lot better and really kept them in that Winnipeg game. So, he's looked way better. Complete 180 after that mid-season lull. So I'm assuming it's going to be Dubnyk. Of course, check on this. Rittich not confirmed. For Calgary, we're going to see Backlund go up against, I think, the Parise line. It's kind of been a thing where everyone's treated Parise as the top line. So anyways, that would put Backlund against Parise, Cunnin, and Fiala. That's a line I actually like, the Cunnin, Fiala, Parise line, but I don't think this is the spot for me to deploy them against Backlund. And then Monahan, Gaudreau, and Lindholm, they're a line I also don't really love attacking as of late. So I'm probably not crazy about the Stahl line either. I think you can play either of the top two Calgary lines. I don't like this matchup at all for Minnesota. And Giordano as well for 6,600. Minnesota has been, I think, in February, second or third most time shorthanded, and then one of the worst power plays or penalty kills as well in February. So give me some Geo, give me some Calgary 1. I'd like Kachuk's price a lot on FanDuel. A lot of people are going to like that, so that's not any sort of hot take. But he may be a one-off guy you want to consider if you're playing cash or just one-offing in tournaments. You're not full stacking with your forwards. All right. That looks like it's about it for the main. What do you guys want to talk about on the early? For me, it's pretty straightforward. We're going to see Columbus going to be major chalk. I think this line's actually going to be pretty chalky because they're somewhat cheap and they're a nice filler to go with Chicago. So we'll go to DK for this, actually. Yeah, really cheap, and then you can fit them like this. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. Now you can put in Werenski. Like, it's a little bit too easy, I think. See, there. I just made your guys' lineup, so don't think you're going to be sneaky with that. I'm still full stacking on the 2-game slate. As far as matchups go, well, actually, hold on a second, because I think someone said something about Duchesne being with Atkinson and Panarin, but Dubois skated with them the whole game yesterday. Let me check. Does anybody have a tweet they can share from Beats? I try to trust Columbus Beats, but they've given us the runaround a couple times this year. More Blues love Stars worst PK over the last 2 weeks in scoring chances against. Nice. All right. We won't know. So good thing this is the first game. You'll get line rushes, hopefully. Hopefully, like I said, Columbus Beats have been a little bit, what's the opposite of straightforward? A little bit secretive with the lines as of late. They've kind of been snoozing or been told not to tweet them out for whatever reason. Sometimes. So we'll see. Hopefully we keep this line together. They're probably going to go up against McDavid. Duchesne's going to see some time against McDavid. There's no bad matchup here on the Oilers. So what I plan to do here is play some McDavid. Again, full stack it. Hope Kassian gets in on the scoring. I don't think it's that bad of a matchup, actually, for McDavid and Nugent Hopkins. And then just play a bunch of Columbus. Like I said, there's just no bad matchup here on for the Oilers that I'm willing to say that I don't want to attack. So you're just gonna have to wait for the line rushes, I guess, is the only thing. On the other side, I'm sorry. Really like Seth Jones. I know it says power play 2. I don't really care. That would be probably my main target for this entire slate for defensemen. So gonna be all over him. Like I said, I'm playing a little bit on DK, not playing a ton of volume or anything. It's a 2-game slate, but I think Chicago's gonna be heavy chalk, and I'm not missing out on the Chicago chalk because I don't think they're a good team, and they're gonna be super, super chalk. So on the other side, you probably want Nurse just because on the power play 1, play players that correlate to McDavid if you're going to play the Oilers. I think that's the best way to go. Chris Russell, actually, I think is a pretty decent play just for block shots. It's a short slate. I don't know that there's a ton of great defensemen that I want to target outside of maybe Jones. So I'd take my Stars stat back. Murderer's row of scoring chances, 4 power plays. Who cares? They're still bad. All right, so that's about good. Chris Russell, there you go. There's your kind of cheap guy that maybe won't be super heavily owned. He's going to block a bunch of shots here, I would think. Columbus should be able to put it on Edmonton pretty heavily as far as shot attempts go. On the other game, Blackhawks, Kings, Crawford could be in net against Quick. I think there's a pretty decent chance the Kings win this game. Now, once again, we get a really good power play matchup for the Blackhawks. It's literally like the 20th they've had it in a row. They've cooled down a little bit. We get Saad back on the top line. That's certainly going to attract some ownership. It also makes that stack really, pretty expensive. So it handcuffs what you can do. For me, as far as MMEing this slate, I'm going to have a couple shares of this Blackhawks line and just pair them with the obvious stuff. So pair them with, you can do the Carter line. You could probably even go run it back with Toffoli, Kopitar, and Brown. You could probably run it back with Duchesne, Zingle. Actually, that might be a little bit too expensive, but one with Columbus 3 and then maybe one with the McDavid line if you could somehow make that work. Probably have to double punt your defenseman. And just have a couple shares. If they go off, at least I give myself a chance with a couple combos. For me, though, I'm probably giving this Kopitar, Brown, and Toffoli line, assuming that's going to be a thing, a chance tonight. By the way, Jamie Benn looks like he's going to play tonight. So hopefully he does not go up with Seguin and Radulov. If he does, it's still not the end of the world for me. But I want to see Hintz, Seguin, and Radulov together again so I can hammer St. Louis 1 with confidence. So I'm going to be way overweight on Kopitar, Toffoli, and Brown. They're going to go up against Taze, Saad, and Kane. Kane and Taze are just not good defensively together the whole year, and really any time throughout their career. So I don't think Saad's going to make them great defensively. Obviously going to make them better offensively. But Kopitar line, I've kind of gone back and forth with them. Their numbers are just kind of meh on everything. But Chicago's defensive numbers are so bad. Maybe even the Kings can score on them. So give me some Kings. Going to be overweight on them. I'm probably going to give this third line a couple shots as well. Brodzinski, Kempe, and Iafallo. Carter with Lipsick and Luff. Man, where are these lines coming from? Does anybody confirm these lines? Nolan, if you're still in chat, do you have confirmation on these Kings lines? Or are these just pure speculation? Carter is terrible. Yeah. He's been pretty bad. 3,300. That's wild. All right, so Doughty, I think, is going to play a bunch of minutes, and Forward, actually. Now, he doesn't do a lot, but that pairing is going to play a lot of minutes against Taze, Saad, and Kane. I'm actually more willing to play Strome, Cahoon, and DeBrincat tonight, or this afternoon. So, will I finally be on the train? I think this line's going to be mega chalk, and I don't believe they should be mega chalk, even on the 2-gamer. So, really do agree with Columbus chalk, less so with Chicago here. Lipsick, Carter, Kovalchuk. Oh, God. They're a disaster. They're an absolute disaster, the Kings. Who knows? Who knows what we're going to see for lines? Who's winning, Chicago or LA? I don't know. I'm like, Chicago is my team, but they're not good. They're just not good. They've run really good lately. And I don't know. The Kings, is this right? The Kings haven't lost or they haven't won in 11 games? I thought I was listening to their broadcast the other night, and that's what they were saying. Kings. Let's see. Loss. That's 8 straight, 10 straight, and 10 straight. That's really bad. Really, really bad. Toffoli, Kopitar, and Brown on top line. Yeah. I think the Kings have a chance here, I will say. Vegas agrees. They've got somewhat of a pick 'em right now. I don't know. This early slate is not that fun. Am I playing it? Yes, I'm playing it because I've got nothing better to do. But, really tough. Main slate better. Wish DK would have given us some more diverse contests. Those were the lines the Kings used last game. Okay, maybe they are true then. Who knows? Maybe a possible edge if they do switch things around. You're going to basically see the entirety of the Hawks game, or the Blue Jackets Oilers game before you need to swap. So that's always nice. If you're dead money, then make some swaps. at 3:30 Eastern. All right, that's probably going to do it for now. I will be back on Monday. I think it might just be a solo stream. I think it's a really short slate. But Nolan and I will for sure be back on Tuesday. If you got any questions this weekend, tomorrow, I'll still have projections and stuff. By the way, we need to do the giveaway quick. All right, $200 NHL shop gift card. Gain additional entries by liking this video. And then also today, we're just going to comment. We've done this one before, but so we did the line the line or player you never get right. Let's go the opposite direction. So for today, you like the video, and then you're going to answer the question, which player always does well for you? Which line always does well for you? Something along those lines. So answer that prompt in the public comment box below. If you're watching this on delay, feel free to do it. You just got to like the video, and you'll have a chance at a $200 NHL shop gift card. We'll give this away either on Monday or Tuesday. Probably Tuesday because it's a little bit of a bigger slate, probably a bigger audience. And so do that. It's free. $200 you can get. Promo code HitTheIce, 50% off your first month of Awesemo.com Premium. If you got any questions about the subscription, what it entails, feel free to hit me up or go to become a member on the main site at the homepage at Awesemo.com. Good luck tonight, guys. See you on Monday.